Since the introduction of Halo in 2001 with Halo Combat Evolved, gamers have been blown away by the sheer fun that Halo has brought to the gaming world. From the days of the original Halo with its overpowered Magnum, to the days of Halo Reach and trying to save the planet from destruction, Bungie took great care of the series and turned it into something that will live on in our hearts forever. However, when Bungie left the series to create Destiny, a new company stepped in to take the reins, 343 Industries. Their first two games, Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians, were generally received poorly by the public, as many perceived the games to stray too far from the vision of the original games, and instead seemed to try and copy the formulas of other popular shooters at the time. Now, 6 years after the release of Halo 5, we are finally being given a game that promises to deliver on what the fans have been wanting since the days of Reach, a classic Halo experience. Does Halo Infinite reach the lofty expectations of its player base, or will it be discarded and put to rest by its many fierce competitors battling for our time and attention? Let's discuss. On November 15th, 343 Industries shocked the gaming world by dropping the Halo Infinite multiplayer straight into the marketplace, a full 3 weeks ahead of the original game's launch on December 8th. This was a shocking move, as a stunt like this has never been pulled in the modern era of gaming. While officially dubbed a beta, this game will still allow you to carry over all your progression when the full game launches, which is awesome. So, what exactly is in this multiplayer beta? Well, let's start with what you were greeted to on the main menu. Halo Infinite's multiplayer comes loaded with 4 different game types: Quick Play, Academy, Ranked, and Custom games. Each one is designed to rotate through all the available maps and modes, so you are sure you are going to play something different each time you boot up the game. Quick Play is your traditional game mode that will randomly place you into a map and game mode, letting you jump straight into the action with no consequences for winning or losing. Academy is a new addition to the Halo universe and is a place to go to practice your skills shooting against bots or partaking in weapon drills to increase your proficiency with each gun in the game. Ranked is the competitive experience that lets you fight against opponents of similar skill to progress through the ranks, which are Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and Onyx respectively. Lastly, Custom games let you play on the maps and modes you're choosing with friends, and is also a great way to explore the maps before jumping into an actual match. Each of these modes allows you to play the game in a different way each time, a nice shake-up that I'm sure many fans can appreciate. In Halo Infinite, 343 has made many new changes, many of which are designed around player feedback and players' desire to return to the good old days of Halo. Many classic game modes return, like Slayer, Capture the Flag, and Oddball, while also featuring some new modes, like Strongholds and Total Control. It seems that 343 has really created this game around player feedback, and is trying to return the game to its more formative Bungie roots, and seems to be quite successful in its approach. To allow as many players as possible to enjoy the experience, 343 made one of the boldest decisions that can be made in the games industry. They made the multiplayer completely free to play, meaning anyone with a console or PC can simply download the game and join in on the fun. This was an excellent decision by 343, as it means that the game will have a much more active and healthier fanbase and will decrease the queue times for matches drastically. Combined with excellent marketing and players' thirst to finally return to the Halo universe, since it's been 6 years since the last game, this game has proven to be a massive success in the first couple weeks after its launch. While this game does feature a battle pass that costs money if you want to unlock all the items, I believe this is a fair trade-off to have for the multiplayer itself to be free to access. Of course, the battle pass progression isn't perfect by any means, but we'll talk more on this later. While this game is missing a huge component to the Halo series, that being Forge mode and co-op campaign, when the campaign does release of course, we won't have to wait too much longer for this feature to be released. Now, let's take a deeper dive into the multiplayer itself. It is freaking fun. The gameplay itself is buttery smooth and offers many different options to enhance your gameplay experience. The game features 7 UNSC weapons and 13 Covenant and Banished weapons, an excellent combination of new and old weapons to keep the experience varied. The maps are fresh and varied, being featured in different environments and having different power weapons to fight for on each map. When you start a match in Halo Infinite, you are equipped with only an assault rifle and sidearm, with all the power weapons being scattered throughout the map. These can be found on the walls or in high traffic areas, creating some exciting and intense gameplay moments where players fight for control over these game-changing weapons. These weapons can range anything from the rocket launcher hilariously named the Spanker to the S7 sniper. Players will surely have an advantage if they are the first one to acquire such weaponry. With every map being so different, every game feels unique and not nearly as predictable as, say, Halo 4, where you could just make your own loadout and know exactly what you're getting into, leading to a pretty bland experience. The uniqueness of each map and mode was an excellent decision by 343 in my opinion, and goes a long way in keeping the multiplayer experience interesting and fun. The ranked experience is very similar to that of quick play, but instead of starting with a traditional assault rifle, you start off with a battle rifle and nothing more. So far, I've had a good experience with this mechanic, and it makes the gunplay feel very skillful and the killing blows feel very satisfying. 343 does a great job here at balancing competitive skill with fun, and I don't find myself feeling burnt out like I do with competitive modes in other games. Now, let's talk about the maps, particularly in Big Team Battle. Halo Infinite comes with 10 maps at the beta launch, and many more are expected to come along the way with the supposed 10-year span this game is supposed to take on. These maps are separated into your classic 4v4 Slayer type game modes and Big Team Battle. 4v4 offered maps for your traditional Halo experience, close-knit maps that focus on gunplay and maneuverability. Big Team Battle, however, deserves some time to be discussed on its own, as it is an epic experience. The maps are expansive and allow plenty of opportunities for soldier-to-soldier combat, and is the only game mode where you can currently use the UNSC and banished vehicles to your heart's content. Every map feels unique, beautiful, and has so many cool gameplay moments that you can end up experiencing. Watching your teammate on a shade turret mowing down a group of enemies, while two warthogs fly by with their gunners blasting each other, is such a cool moment that really makes you feel like you've been transported back to the glory days of Halo. Now, unfortunately, only 3 maps currently exist for the mode, that being Fragmentation, High Power, and Deadlock, but we should expect to see more once the game fully releases. Also, I do believe that the vehicle spawns for this mode are a bit too low right now, as the heavy vehicles like the Scorpions, Hornets, and Banshees just don't feel like they spawn as often as they should, leaving you to only be able to really use a Mongoose and Warthog over and over again. I hope that 343 would look back on this decision, as I believe that having more vehicles spawn will only add to the fun and enjoyment of the mode. Of course, not everything is positive about the game. The progression system, or lack thereof it, is one of the biggest shortcomings in Halo Infinite. In this game, there is no overarching level system, something that almost every modern shooter has had for about a decade. Instead, this game focuses its entire progression system on its battle pass, and the only way to level up said battle pass is by completing challenges, which are for the most part not very fun or rewarding, and are typically so easy that you achieve them naturally without even trying. Many players would argue this is a good thing, as challenges that make you play in a way that is detrimental to your team obviously isn't ideal, but having no challenge at all isn't fun either. This is the one major blemish that Halo Infinite has, as its otherwise stellar multiplayer design is really hampered by the tedious and slow progression that you make in the Battle Pass. Thankfully though, the gameplay itself is enough to keep players playing, and 343 is proving willing to listen to feedback on this idea, so hopefully more positive changes will result in the future. So that's all I have for you today. This was my first video that I have ever produced for YouTube, so all feedback is appreciated. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and a comment, and consider subscribing if you would like to see me make more content in the future. Until next time, take care, and have fun ranking up your Spartan.